What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Man on the Loose. I'm going to continue on this little mini series that I'm doing where I kind of talk about uh, earlier stages of military, specifically the Marine Corps, at least the way it was back in 2001 when I went through. So, we've talked about why you enlist, we've talked about going to the recruiter, we've talked about leaving MEPS and going into receiving there at boot camp. So, in the Marine Corps, you're going to have three phases of recruit training. So, recruit training, uh, you really don't realize that you're nasty and that you look like a fool and just completely like unkempt, and what we would call nasty. Uh, there in that first phase, you may have been well put together before you got there, but once you got there, everyone can tell you're phase one. Phase one, they're going to do a lot of workouts. They're going to do, start into that McMap training, which is Marine Corps martial arts. And they're going to also start, working on drill, how you wear a uniform correctly and not looking like a, bag of nasty while you're, walking around MCRD. When you're really not going to be walking, you're going to be marching everywhere you go. But everything about you at that point is unsat. Uh, phase one, they're starting to get you where you need to be. You're going to go to class. You're going to learn about the Marine Corps history. You're going to learn about first aid. You're going to learn about general orders. You're going to learn new definitions for words. Like, I still remember, they were like, discipline is, and we would repeat the instant, willing obedience to orders. And, it got drilled into you because they're trying to make you into someone who's worthy of joining their ranks. They don't want to just let anyone into the, that phase, into their branch. They want people who deserve to be there to be in that branch. And that's every branch that I've seen. I've watched boot camp videos and talked to people from every single branch of the military, and they all want to put out a product they can be proud of. So those drill instructors uh, are going to create a lot of chaos. They're going to make you think and act and respond under pressure, because that part of being in the military, especially if you are actually unfortunate enough to have contact from the enemy. So it's going to be chaotic. You have to think under pressure. You have to be able to move and react to things on your toes. So it's going to be constant chaos. And because you're nasty, because you don't do things correctly yet, you're going to have way more IT, or getting smoked. So you're going to be on the quarter deck doing. You're going to push. You're going to do whatever the drill instructor says, because at that point they're actually having fun with you. They're playing games, and we call it drill instructor games. And you are probably going to do 2 sheets in a blanket, Mount Suribachi, all these games that later, when you look back at your experience, are funny, but they definitely weren't when you were there. And that, I mean, unless things have changed drastically from now to then, um, I don't see it being the Marine Corps without those things. But you're definitely going to spend time on the quarter deck getting some incentive training, IT, smoked, whatever you want to call it. If you're outside, and especially if it's the whole platoon they want to work over, then you're going to island hop if you're at MCRD San Diego, and you're going to go from one sand pit to the other sand pit to the other sand pit all day long, just so you can experience what MCRD has to offer. You're going to be pushing, you're going to be doing mountain climbers, you're going to do all kinds of stuff. You're going to sweat through your uniform, and then they're going to sugar cookie you by making you get all of that sand coated on the outside of your uniform and all over your head. And it's miserable, but it's part of it. And that's, if you join the Marine Corps, that's kind of what you signed up for. At least I hope that's what you signed up for, because I mean, there are plenty of videos out there now. There's tons of, I mean, there's movies where they're at boot camp. There's documentaries out there. So you should have some type of idea of what you're getting yourself into. And for me, phase one, phase two kind of blend together, but towards phase two, you are less nasty. You are starting to look a little bit better. People can tell, hey, they know a little bit more about what they're doing. When you're marching, it looks better. Uh, and you're starting to kind of come together as a Marine who's not in the field. Um, as a recruit, you're going to start getting a little bit more of kind of what you think you signed up for. We had pugil sticks in phase two, at least one round of it, and we had, I think it was at week 25, day 25, something like that. Um, we did the rappel tower, and that was fun. It's like 47 feet tall tower, and you're gonna rappel off of it. You're gonna kind of be suspended, and you're gonna rappel down that way, and then you're gonna fast rope, and all of that's you know what I mean that's what I signed up for. Um, and funny thing about the pugil sticks is drill instructors get into that. Like our drill instructor was like, hey, if you make someone cry, I'll give you a 5-minute phone call. Hey, if you do this, I'll give you a 10-minute phone call. And we're all just kind of sitting there because we can't see inside those chutes. But the drill instructors are up top, they're looking down on it. And I just see my senior drill instructor going, oh, yeah, get him, get him. Oh, and he's just throwing his hands up. And you can tell he's excited about whatever was happening there with one of the dudes from my platoon. And he was a little guy. And what he said, what we were told that happened, what he relayed back to us was that his hands were too small to really grip the pugil stick correctly, so it gets knocked out of his hands. So he like jumps the guy and just knocks him on his ground, starts banging his helmet into the ground, and just the other opponent's crying, and he definitely lived up to that hand-to-hand expectation that we have for the Marines. So I think he got I think he got like some time on the phone with his family as a reward. But that just shows. I mean, improvise, adapt, overcome was already in his mind. He wasn't about to let someone beat him. So that you know is part of that MCRD experience, because in phase one and two you are at MCRD San Diego. Phase three you're going to spend that up in Camp Pendleton. I believe it was Ensign Range, if I'm not mistaken. But you're going through different inspections. You're going through, I mean, you're going to start to learn how to wear a uniform correctly, not just your cami uniform, but your service uniform, because you're going to be inspected in that service uniform. Really getting general orders down, weapons function check, where you are, looking to make sure that it's clear before you hand it to the inspector, and you're going to know your rifle serial number. All of these things are part of that phase one, phase two time period where you're getting good instruction. You're going to take an academic test. You're going to take a swim test, which, if you didn't know that you're going to swim in the Marine Corps, guess what? We ride on Navy ships. So if there is ever a situation where the ship is going down, you're going to have to know how to swim, or at least float until help gets there. So they have a few different phases of swim qualification, and so that's going to be getting in the water, taking your gear off within a certain amount of time, swimming, or I believe it's a free fall, tread water, and then swim. And you're going to do all these things. And yeah, I mean, if you show up to the Marine Corps without the ability to swim, they're going to give you swim lessons like you're a little kid, and then you're going to try the swim test. So you are probably going to end up at least knowing how to doggy paddle or something before you leave. So don't go to, that's like kind of what I was talking about when I talked about the preparation for boot camp. If you didn't know you were going to have to be able to swim, and you don't know how to swim, go to the YMCA, talk to a lifeguard, something, but learn how to at least swim halfway decent before you ever even go to boot camp, because you're going to be graded on it. So you're going to have an academic test, the swim test. I can't remember if the PFT is phase one, phase two, phase three. It's not phase one. It's going to be phase two or phase three. You're going to take an IST before you, like right at the beginning of boot camp. And y'all probably don't understand those acronyms if you're not already in. IST is initial strength test. So uh, basically take the minimum expectations of your physical fitness, divide it by two, and that's your IST. So they want to make sure that you're at least somewhat physically capable of being there. You're going to take that. If you fail it, I don't know what they do to you. I didn't fail it, so, and I don't know anyone who did fail it. I don't think a recruiter is going to feel comfortable sending somebody who can't at least pass that part of it. So you're going to take the IST, uh, all the working out, all the stuff you're doing, even the IT and getting smoked. All of that stuff is to prepare you for your PFT. It's building your endurance. It's building your strength. I went to boot camp, hitting around 5, 6 pull-ups, at my best. The type of things that I did not work the same muscles that do pull-ups. Um, by the time I left boot camp, I was doing one-arm pull-ups. So it's crazy how big a transformation you make from the day you get there to the day you leave. But that PFT is your initial grade on your physical fitness test, and they actually will continue to give you PFTs throughout your career, and eventually it's going to count towards your promotion. So you're going to want to make sure you like their maximum should be your minimum if you really want to do anything special. They talk about like special operations. You're going to have a top PFT if you want to go special operations. If you want to do something like motor T admin, you don't have to have a top PFT, but if you want to get promoted faster than some of your friends, you will have to have a top PFT because it puts you apart from them. So pull-ups, crunches, 3 mile run, and was actually putting together a worksheet for some of my students who are going to be looking at military as a career possibility here pretty soon. And I know that they've changed the standards from when I was in. I know that the minimum pull-up was 3, the maximum they would count was 20. I don't remember the minimum crunches, but it's 2 minutes, and the max they counted back when I was in was 100. Um, and then it's a 3 mile run, and I don't remember what the minimum run time was or the maximum run time was that they would count. I just know that mine was usually around 19 minutes, between 19 minutes and 19 minutes and a half on the 3 mile run. So, really try and max out what you can do. So you're gonna take a test there at MCRD, those inspections and stuff, because MCRD is more for what people see. It's, people don't see Marines in the field. They don't see Marines in combat unless they are living in the country that we're being sent to. So when I say things people see, they see you wearing your uniform. They see you marching. They see you being that professional Marine out and about town and when they go to the base, if they're ever going on base. Um, Phase 3, which we'll talk about in the next video, is what happens when you're in the field. Phase 3 is all about the field. So, um, I know in my time we did a tan belt test, and I can't remember if we did that once we got back from Phase 3 or if we did that right before we left for Phase 3. It's been more than a minute since I went in 2001. It's 2020 now. So some of the things I know we tested at MCRD for our tan belts, but McMap was actually really was brand new when I went through, and it wasn't. You know, I heard that from one phase to the next, training company to the next, things were different. So what we did in Kilo Company was different than what India and Foxtrot and Lima were doing. Everyone kind of they were trying to figure out the best cycle and when to do things. So I think me in Kilo Company 2001, I think we tested before we went to Camp Pendleton. Um, but that's kind of the breakdown between phase 1 and 2 versus phase 3. I hope this helps you out. Again, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head how things happen. But I know all of your paperwork, all of your schoolwork, all of your general orders testing, all of your everything but your final inspection. All of that's going to happen pre Camp Pendleton. Swim test, the pool is there at MCRD. Uh, and in phase two, you're also going to have that team week. And I've mentioned that team week before, I think somewhere in a different video. I will make a separate video for team week because my team week I think was different than everybody else's team week, and I think it deserves its own video. So if this helps you out at all, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell because I will continue to do some series and I do gear reviews and things like that. But if you have a question, drop it in the comments. I don't, like I said, I don't remember everything, but it's one of those things that when you're around buddies that were there with you, you get to talking and you remember things that you forgot, or you're looking through pictures and you're remembering stuff. So I'll do my best to answer whatever questions I can. And if I can't remember something, I'll contact one of my buddies that I'm still connected with through Facebook, and I'll do my best to answer whatever questions y'all have. So thanks again for watching Van on the Loose. Join us next time when I talk about phase 3, which is going to be things like gas chamber, rifle range, crucible. You can't miss out on the crucible. It's its own beast, and it's night and day different from any type of training I've seen from any other branches. So thanks again for watching Van on the Loose. We'll talk to you again next time.